What's up, everybody? Sal and Cody
What
here,
is up?
back for another wonderful Wednesday night stream. We got a fun topic to talk about. It is the end of the business day. Do apologize if you are a loyal fan of ours. We do appreciate you because we got a lot of great fans across all platforms. And I just been busy with my moving company, my construction company. It's just been swamped. My construction company is booked out for the next 13 months. Like it is impossible for me to do any more work with that company. So kudos to them, kudos to that team. Everyone, round of applause for them because they're working hard and they're making some great money for themselves and for everybody, including the companies we're building for, right? But enough about me. We're going to talk about a very fun topic. If you haven't seen the thumbnail, I do apologize because I did not get to. I forgot to change the name of the live, so it you will never retire, and it might happen for the last three generations because the way the world is looking, the economy is looking, the movements going on, and with the red pill and feminism, you got people not having kids. Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha might be the last of us. So, and if that's the case, of course, unfortunately, the last generations may never get to retire. And how are we going to make it? Because there's even talks now with the U.S. Congress and Senate, basically the saying, everybody, all the older people want to say you got to work longer. And this has been a topic of ages. Don't get me wrong, millennials and Gen Z, because my age group when we were hitting our 20s in the early 2000s and late 90s, we were Gen Xers were being told don't rely on Social Security. Pensions are and I think like 40% of pensions had already disappeared by then. And we were saying you're going to have to invest and save your money if you're going to want to retire. Even in my age group, I would say I'd say 4 out of 5 Gen Xers might run out of money in their retirement. And it's crazy because millennials, Gen Zers want to retire before 65, but none of them are saving or making the right steps. So we're here to have a chat about it. If you guys have a question or anything, drop it in the chat on YouTube. I will definitely pick it up, or Facebook or Twitter if you're on one of those. Drop it in there and we will be happy to I'll be happy to go over your questions. How can you get to your goal? And this is one of the things I keep telling a lot of young people, especially Cody's age, when you're in your early 20s, get yourself a financial advisor because your financial advisor can put you on the right path. If you want to retire by 40, have a financial advisor, set up a plan. You might have to make a lot of sacrifices and get there. But I want to kind of go over some topics and everything and kind of get the lay of the land. But I'll let Cody give some of his thoughts too on where retirement. And I know he has a certain situation. I don't know if he wants to talk about it. I leave it up to him. But that's kind of inspiring him to try to get there by 35. So I'll let Cody take the floor on that. Still got to set up some stuff, but as always, this live is sponsored by you guys hitting that like and subscribe button and helping support the channel so we can grow and get more people involved. So, Cody, I don't know if you want to give a quick chat about that because I have a story too about retirement with my parents.
Yeah, it's a good thing to worry about for Gen Z and just anybody because as the economy is, things get uncertain. But that's just how it is with my dad. Even my dad, he wants to retire. He's 61. He's not able to retire just yet. He's probably gonna have to wait until he's like 65 to 67.
Yeah, and that's it. It seems like it's not that far away for him, guys. But when you're old and your body's tired and your mind's ready to quit, 6 years is a long
Yeah,
time to really try to work and provide for your family and keep working and doing the things that you need to do. So I know that there's a lot of young people like that don't want to be in that situation. So I'm not a financial advisor, but I am a licensed stockbroker. That's what I was. I just buy and trade stocks. I didn't really do much of anything else. Don't counsel anybody, but I could tell you we both got taught, both financial advisors and stockbrokers got taught the same thing. And I could tell you 99% of what's out here on the internet is probably not good advice, like especially when we use symbols of affirmation, like driving a Ferrari, driving a Rolls Royce or whatever. They're living a lavish lifestyle. And they're telling you, hey, this is how I escaped the 9 to 5 by my course, and it's like that doesn't work. There are some good people, shout out to JT Pocket Watcher. He is a financial advisor and a tax consultant. So he can help you basically on your finances and out and your tax liabilities on your investments. That's always good to have, as well as having a tax consultant with you as well for planning retirement. But he tells you all the same things. It's just boring. It's making money, getting to retirement, retiring by 35, retiring by 40, whatever age you plan on or trying to get there in 10 years. It is boring making money. It's the same shit every day. It feels like Groundhog Day. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie, but it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. I feel like I'm on a goddamn loop. Like it's the same day, same thing, same process. I'm doing the same monotonous, boring stuff day in, day out. But that's what's making me money. And everyone's kind of attacking Dave Ramsey. I know a lot of Gen Zers and young millennials are attacking Dave Ramsey, saying he's out of touch. But the key thing about making money is try to spend much less than what you get than what you receive, and you will have a surplus that you can invest with. And I could tell you right now, if you're in your 20s and you're socking away, especially if you're just putting it in a 401k, you're socking away 2 grand a month. I mean, 2 grand a month, you'll probably hit the 18,000 before. Yeah, you'll probably hit the 18,000 before let's see here, times 12. Yeah, you'll hit it halfway through the year, about a third, 3/3 of the way there. 3/3 through the year, you'll hit the maximum 18,000. So could you imagine at 20, when you have the least amount of liabilities, you don't have any kids to take care of, you don't have like a roof over your, like a house to take care of, and trust me, home ownership does create wealth for you long term. It's part of your retirement plan, but it does not it's not going to be a benefit to you when you're 20 and you're getting your life established and you're traveling for your career, especially if you're going to work the corporate ladder, because you're going to be traveling all over the country and probably now all over the world. It's going to be very hard to maintain a house where you are. You guys got to understand, you might be up and moving every 2 years.
That's why I don't ever want to. That's why I don't see myself wanting to get a home anytime soon. Especially as somebody who still lives with their parents. I'm not even moved out yet, so it's like I would aim to rent. That's just me, though.
And everyone's got their preferences, but I will say this: the best time to get a home is if you're, especially if you're planning on getting married, that's probably the best time to get a home, because when you have the dual income, you are able to put a larger down payment, you're able to get the house, you both have, hopefully you did everything right in your early 20s to mid 20s, so by the time you get to marriage, which with the average person in the US is somewhere between 30 and 34 is when they get married,
This
you're
could be
able
a
to
different
put it down.
topic, but speaking of marriage, like, most people like nowadays don't even want to get married, and I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. There's tons of reasons why, but
Oh,
tons of people
absolutely.
nowadays don't even want to get married. It's almost like it's out of style.
It is kind of out of style, but especially with millennials and Gen Zers. But I will say this: I have a tab here. I'm going to show you guys. Getting married helps you financially, both both people in the marriage, because you're able to combine more money, invest more money. You're able to get larger asset purchases. Like Cody's a single guy. It would take him longer, or he has to take bigger risks, like investing in crypto, to be able to buy larger capital assets. Whereas if he marries someone on the same page as him, he is able to get to that. He's able to get to that target. They're able to get to that target quicker. Like I can't tell you how many married couples that I move on my high end side that their success is they attribute their success solely to the fact that not only did they marry a great partner, they also had the same sensibilities on finances, so they were able to make bigger purchases than they ever would be able to independently, and that's what catapulted them. Like there's an older couple that we moved from Missouri to Florida. I think it was outside of like the Fort Lauderdale area. This was like a 12,000 square foot home. They built that because when they got married, they said in 3 years we're gonna get an apartment complex, and they worked and they struggled. He the husband was working like 80-hour weeks at the job he was at. His wife was teaching, and then after teaching, she would clean houses on the weekend to prep for real estate agents or sales or whatever, right? That allowed them to be able to get their first big rental property, and they bought half of it in cash at the time. So they were able only to finance 50%, which gave them a tremendous amount of equity. So that in 5 years, when they just were about to come up on 30, they were able to refinance and buy another apartment complex for the refinance amount and just keep the process going. So they waited till they had a nice market crash, they had enough cash available, and they just kept going. You would never be able to do that if you didn't have dual income and two people just hustling it out to get there. Now, I'm not saying like throw that on someone that doesn't want it, because you guys got to understand, if you're going to do the marriage route for financially securing a retirement, this is men and women, doesn't matter if you're gay or straight, you have to make sure that person is on the same path as you, on the same, because if they're not and they don't want to suffer through that turmoil very short term, they kind of want to live a little bit more comfortably, it's not going to work. You're going to kind of come off as a tyrant with that. But there are still significant levels of tax credits, things like that, that can help you get to where you want to be, such as there's a marriage credits on getting a mortgage, filing for your taxes. You get more money back for having kids in a marriage. It's crazy. I'm not a tax preparer, but I could tell you the amount that you can get back is tremendous off of it. And a lot of people who are late Gen Xers and baby boomers, they use those tax advantages to help pay for their kids' colleges. Like they kept putting the money away. And I think it's a 539. I'm not too sure, or 529. I have not done banking, personal banking in almost 2 decades now. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong or what the actual tag of that is. But it's a special fund where you could put it tax deferred for your kids to go to college. When I had my daughter, I set that up and I put enough money into it. Um, so I'm not too worried. I'm like I said, I'm not too worried about her financials, whether I make it or fail off my businesses. I'm not too worried about it because she can keep going on. She can do what she wants with her college. That's what they did, and that's what you can do too. So it alleviates the burden on the family of taking loans and things like that. There's just crazy things that you can do that when you hit those when you hit those brackets, and you can get there quicker in a freaking marriage. But the main topic, let's talk about the main topic, is about 60% of Gen Zers say they want to retire before 65. Most say they want to really retire before before they hit that 35 or 40 mark. That's a tough cookie to hit. So in order to hit that, to where you can comfortably retire, and comfortably retire means you got to plan on not living to 80, not living to 100. You have to plan that you're going to live to 120, and you're not going to have any financial support from your social security or pension, or your 401k may not pan out. So that means you got to hit somewhere about 5.5 million to cover inflation, because you're going to cover a lot of years of inflation if you're expecting to live to 120
See,
just with.
that's my goal. My goal is to hit my first million by 30. But, the life I'm living right now is not the life I want to live at all. I live at home with my parents. I work a
Mhm.
job that I don't see myself working at all for the rest of my life. It's just something as a stepping stone. And I pretty much use 90% of my money in crypto, to pretty much just build my wealth, to build my net worth up. That way, in the next year, I can actually move out and do more with my life.
Exactly. And what you guys don't understand is that when you're young like Cody and you don't have any kids and you don't have major liabilities like a mortgage or like a car note, you can take larger bets that might be able to get you there. But if you lose and you don't make it, you still have time to recover. But we all know the stats of crypto. We all know the stats of everything. I'm not really here to kind of talk about either way, but Cody and I are fans of crypto. But I'm trying to tell you that you don't need crypto to even get there either. Like there's other ways to get there. And the main way to get to financial freedom is just to save your money, be frugal, don't live well within your means, well under your means, and invest every penny that you can, and make sure you maintain a great credit score. 800 is the target, or at least 750 and above, because then that credit score will be able to allow you to get the mortgage, to get the rental properties, get things that you can do, and you'll be able to save and have money set aside as reserve for problems with any of the investments that you may have. But I think the biggest thing is that we're trying to get there. I think a lot of us, and this is my age group too, Gen X down, is that we are trying to get to wealth and retirement and not working as fast as possible and as flashy as possible. I can't tell you how many people, and I've seen my competitors, some of them really young, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Even a guy that I think he's in his mid 60s stiffed me on a $30,000 bill for my moving and delivery company. Stiffed me on it. And this was like 5 years ago when my first year, he stiffed me on it, and he's going under because he tried to do fast, hard, and flashy. Fast money comes with fast problems, and well, I shouldn't say fast problems. The problems come and hit you fast. And the problem is with those fast problems is that they linger for decades. Like he's up there. He's not financially recovering from this. This is it. This is done. He is wiped out. He has to go find a job. And because of his track record and because he kind of pissed off everybody, not only in the local area, but just in the industry that he had his business in, he will have a hard time even getting like a management job. So this probably means go work at McDonald's, go work at Walmart as a people greeter or something like that. And that's a terrible position. And you don't want to be in that position. And I'm telling you, you're watching in real time all these influencers go through this, because now a lot of them are talking about, oh, we're trying to live that humble life. The wealth was freaking me out. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. They were wasting that damn money. I could tell you that right off the bat. And when they were saying that they were spending $14,000 on a Lamborghini, I was like, now I know you are not who you portray you are. Because if anyone who has money knows, I know I can go down to Dallas to that Lamborghini dealership. I can get a Lamborghini, whether it's a Huracan, Urus, or the new one, the Revolto. I think I almost was ready to get that one, the Revolto, or Revolto, whatever it is pronounced. It's the same that I don't know how to say an Italian name, but it's it was like only like 3,700 a month was the payments for me. I don't where they're getting these 14,000 is because they're either renting them or they're like secondhand loans. And I get offered that tons because I sold Ferraris in the past. Because I sold Ferraris, I'm a considered a brand supporter, so I can get an allocation more than one. So that means I can get a brand new Ferrari. I can walk and say, "Hey, I want to get a brand new Ferrari." They'll type my name and say, "Oh, you are a valued supporter of the Ferrari brand. Thank you so much. You can get this allocation. You can get another allocation." And a lot of people, they fall into this trap. They get those allocations. I know we're off topic, but they get that second allocation and they like sublease it out to these influencers, rappers, and all those type of people, and it just ends up in a bad scenario. You don't want those problems. You don't want to make an you don't want to make a quick buck. We want to make a nice, slow, steady buck. And I can tell you that you can do this off of an average salary. Even Cody is getting ready to cross $100,000 net worth off of working at a convenience store as just a fresh food manager at a convenience store. He's getting there. You would never have thought you could get there, but he got there because there's a lot of sacrifice that you have to do to get there.
And keep in mind, like, I don't have a car at all. I've actually been thinking today, like, man, like, I've been buying crypto for 2 years, and like, sometimes I wish I could take out some money and buy a car because I don't have a car. Like, when I'm not working, I'm literally just sitting at home because I don't have friends. I don't have you can't do anything in Northwest Arkansas without a car. People tell me all the time, well, you can get an Uber membership and you can, that's freaking expensive, right? And most of my money goes towards investments anyway. So pretty much I'm sacrificing mental health and everything just because I know for a fact if I cashed out, like I have 35 grand sitting in crypto. If I cashed all of that out right now and bought a car for like even 10 or 15,000, okay, I still got like 20 something grand left. That can go away quick once I get my own place. And I don't want to cash out just to say, oh, well, I have a car in my own place. Then what? Now I don't have much money. Now I don't have much assets. All just to have a car in my own place right now when I can wait another year and most likely my assets will have appreciated and I can have a lot more. Like, but it's a boring life I live right now, and it's a depressing life I live right now too. Like my life is my mental health is so low, but I'm sticking with it just because I know what the markets are gonna do.
Exactly. And see, that's the type of sacrifice you have to make. I
I
mean,
don't.
you can
I
have
could buy a car right now, like, and I'm not. My parents take me to work. Like I don't go anywhere. I don't date. I don't talk to women. I don't hang out with people. I'm literally just sitting at home right now with nothing to do besides on the live stream.
exactly. And it's like I'm the same way. Like I just in order for me to make the money that I had, and Cody knows I didn't have this for very long. Like he was working for me when my business was kind of on and off the struggle bus. Like we were making it, then we weren't making it, then we had problems, we cut back, then we went forward again, then backwards, forward, backwards, forward, backwards. But after all those tribulations and the sacrifice to get there, because there's no way working 18 hours a day for a solid 5 years, 7 days a week, that I was going to be able to do anything else but this company. And slowly but surely, that focus turned in. I got a little bit more time, a little bit more time, and even still, I'm doing stuff like this. I only have my parents, my brother, and my daughter. That's all I have, and that's all I really care about at this moment. Because it's like I just want to get to where I want to go. And even still, to many of you, I've hit the financial dream. I have a nice crypto portfolio, nice seven figures crypto portfolio, and it's probably going to be well into the eight figures when we get to a bull run and when I'm able to take my profits. I have a great stock portfolio, I have great funds, and I have a huge real estate portfolio. I've hit where I wanted to hit when I was 30. Now that I'm 40, I have a different goal till I get to 50. And now that I'm 40, I'm realizing I'm going to have to keep working because I don't want to for me, I don't want to stop because my dad is living longer. And this kind of comes back to that story. My dad outlived his planned date of death. I hate to say it like that, but he retired at 62. He got his he cashed out his sick days because he never took a sick day in his entire 40 years. He started working there at 22. Yeah, no, 21, and then he retired at 63, and used the money from his not from his cash out of his sick days, which was like 3 years of salary, to go the 2 year gap to 65 to get his Social Security and his pension. But he was not planning on he was planning on, passing away at 75, and now he's here coming up on 85, and it's looking like he's as healthy as a horse, knock on wood. I want my dad to be around as long as possible, as long as he's healthy, that he might live to 100, and he did not plan on it. Luckily, he has a pension for life, so it's not going to disappear. His Social Security is not going to disappear, and his GI pension is not going to disappear. So he has something, and he's lucky enough that he had two sons that were able to build a business that is able to cover any gaps that may happen. Anything that insurance won't pay for, my brother and I pretty much have it covered for our parents, and we bought them their dream retirement home. You know, and when my dad said that to me, and he said that to me last year, I realized that I shouldn't plan to retire at 65 or even 70. I should plan that I might live to 120, 130 years old because of how technology is going. I already look this young and I'm 40. I mean, what happens if I still look like this at 50, 60, and 70? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be living longer. I'm just naturally going to live longer. And I looked at my history. Everybody in my family, both sides, have lived longer than well past. Even my grandpa on my mom's side has lived 30 years longer, 30 years longer than he even planned. He lived right up to 98. And the only reason he passed away is because for some odd reason he saw a tub like sitting on the side of the road and said, let's pick it up and put it in a truck, and he had a heart attack and died right there. And that's unfortunate. But he wasn't even like sick or ill or frail at 98. It was crazy. And that happened 20 years ago. So my point is like, you guys got to plan that you are going to live a very long time, especially Gen Alpha, Gen Z, and young millennials. You might be the longest living humans in history. You just might be those. And how are you going to prepare for that? Because if you're talking about only having a couple million, you're going to run out well before then. You might need, I anticipate 5.5 is probably a good number, like 5.5 million, but you might need a lot more than that. You might end up working till 65 and then living another 60 years not working with the way medical technology is going. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you live longer than you even conceived of planning? That's a tough thing. And that's what's happening right now with a lot of baby boomers. They're living longer than they projected. They're living longer than what they saved and planned for, live longer than what their money allowed them to live. So now they're having to come back into work. Do you want to retire at 35 and then have to come back to work at 65? That's tough. That's tough. You don't want to be in that position. That's a very bad position. I would say this is what I'm going to tell you guys. Work like you want to retire at 35. Get to a net worth of 1 million. Cuz then you could say, "You know what? I don't like this job. I'm just going to take a year off, but I'm going to go find an opportunity that works best for me." That's what I say. That's what I want you guys to do. Because you probably won't be able to retire, but if you get your finances right, maybe meet the right person, have a stable and healthy marriage, you will get to that point, and then you both of you be able to work the jobs that you like, not the jobs that you have to. Trust me, I worked the job that I had to because it paid the bills. It was called Radio Shack. It sucked. I hated every minute of it. But
That's how I
I
feel about
worked
my
it.
job.
It sucked, but I did it. And I was let go like a year before it went bankrupt. But the thing is that I was getting paid great money. I did an excellent job. I hated my job. I didn't like getting up and going to work in the morning, but I did it because I needed to financially because of my divorce. I don't want you guys to go through that. Now, I don't want anybody to go through that. That was a horrible experience. That's a horrible position to be put in. However, it had to be done. Now, if you don't make even I could say I made a lot of bad decisions in my 20s. If you guys avoid those bad decisions like spending your money on frivolous shit, buying a car that you really don't need, buying an extra car that you don't need, trying to flex on people that don't even know or care about you, I can tell you, you will come out very successful in life. Don't make the same mistakes that I did in the past. I spent way too much money in my 20s. I was going to the clubs, I was living that life, and especially since I lived in the middle of New York City and Philadelphia, and you could just run the train for 20 bucks back then. So I would go down to Philadelphia, hit the clubs up there. They close down at 11. New York doesn't get popping until about 1 o'clock in the morning. So you take the train up to 1 o'clock up to New York, party till about 5 o'clock in the morning, come back home, take a brief hour nap, fresh up, and you head out to work. I don't want. I don't think that was an empty lifestyle. I got nothing of it. People are like, oh, you have experiences. Like, I can't even remember half the shit. It's not worth it. What's worth it to you guys, especially you young folks, get your shit together, get your finances together, get a plan going, and get in and get the f out, get the hell out, get out of Dodge, because you don't want to be working for something when you're 50 because you have to, because you got to put your kids through college. Maybe you got divorced. Maybe you got into a marriage where you spent more than you thought you could, or you never got married and you spent all your money and you never even thought about saving. Trust me, I got a few exes like that. Never even conceived about saving. Now they're in their 40s. And it's like, well, the retirement boat has sailed. You missed it. You're going to have to work two jobs now just so you can work one job when you're 60 and maybe work one part-time job when you're 70. That's terrible. It's like, do you guys want to work till you die? Because experiences are worth nothing if you're broke and you're living in a box at 60. You can't feed yourself, can't take care of yourself, can't pay for your medical expenses, don't have a roof over your head, but you had those experiences. You live that life. It's kind of like what I keep talking about it back, with a lot of guys that have coming in and out of my doors working for me, that always talking about I was slaying those hoes back in the day. I was slinging those hoes. I was slinging it back in the day. Now where are they? They got a bunch of child support. They're coming up on 50. They're behind on one like astronomically. They're already going to garnish his social security. They're already taking out of his check. He can't catch up. He's done. He's going to have to work he's literally going to have to work till he dies on the job. That is literally his life. Do you
Damn.
guys want to live that life? I'm telling you, I processed so much stuff. This past Monday, I had to set up another 27 wage garnishments because I have a lot of guys that didn't pay a ticket, didn't pay their mortgage, didn't pay their bills, didn't
Guys that work for
child
you?
support. I'm sorry?
Guys that work for you?
Yes. And I could tell you next paycheck, oh, I'm going to be sitting in this office hearing screaming and matching with these guys because they made the poor decision. They didn't. Basically, you played the game of life and you fucked up. And here you are. You got to pay for this crap. And I'll tell you guys this. And I know it's like we got to get about 25% of our viewership is women, and we get about 20,000 views about per month. So most of them seem to be coming off of watching us recording. But I'm telling you this. I'm going to tell you young guys this. I'm going to tell you this. If you prioritize women and sexual gratification, you are going to lose the game of life because that is a lose-lose situation. A lot of the people in my network, They didn't even get married until like my age. Like I'm talking to one guy in my real estate network. He's coming up on 68. He got married at 42. That's when he had his kids because he spent 25 years. Like he left high school back in the day and since then was working and grinding, building up a real estate and construction empire. And now his net worth is like 50 million. And when he finally was able to have a family, he actually said it was awkward because he had to go out there, he had to date, he had to do all the things that a lot of people did when they were 20. But then he said, when I'm 40 doing the things that people did when they're 20, they can't do the things that I can do now. They can't just walk into a dealership and just buy a car because they like it. They can't walk in and say, I want a heated patio because I don't want my feet to be cold because I like to read books outside. They can't say, oh, I need a break. Let's take the family and go to the Caribbeans, or let's go to Paris, or let's go to Japan. Let's travel the world. Let's have a quick vacation. Let's charter a private jet and go where we want. They can't do that. They're sitting there saying, how am I going to get food? How am I going to keep this roof over my head? This sucks. This economy sucks. But this whole economy is everybody's decision. This is a result of everybody's decisions. There's no grand scheme. There's no nothing. This is a culmination of bad decisions. And the ones making out are me. And I even made bad decisions, but I just stopped and I started making better decisions. And finally, I started making it. And now it's just easy. Now everybody's crying and crumbling, and I'm having the best time of my life because I can buy more assets cheap. I can go on vacation. I can buy my family stuff. You know, my brother wanted to go see the Godzilla premiere. He was able to just do it on a whim. Do you want that light? Do you want stuff like that? It's pointless to have the stuff now when you're barely making it, when you could put that money towards it. And we covered this like I think like a month ago, where I added up like if you cut out just Starbucks and buying lunch, you can save roughly $9,000 a year. I did it. I had to. I had to pay child support, alimony, a mortgage, two car payments, and my little rinky-dink little apartment that I was living in after my divorce. I had to pay for those things. The only way I was going to make it is if I cut out lunch and start cutting stuff out of my budget. I had no TV, no cable. I had a prepaid phone at the time. I just like cut out your sensibilities, cut out your embarrassment, cut out your bouginess, I guess you could say, and start saying, look, this is the life I have to live to get to where I want. This is only going to be temporary. It's not going to last forever because the money I am saving and investing is going to help me in the future. If you guys just keep saying that, you will, because it will be temporary. Me living in a roach infested apartment in an area where they like stuck all the ratchet people helped me out. I was there for like 6 years. Even though 3 years into it, I could have left, I stayed another 3 years. I made it work because I knew I wanted to leave where I was working, start a business, and get back to where I was financially.
That's how I view living with my parents right now. It's like I could, if I wanted to, I could cash everything out and move out, but it's like I wouldn't have much after I did that.
Exactly. Don't think of the now. Don't think of, I got young guys that work for me that they're finally making $50,000 a year. This is like the most money these guys have ever made. Plus, they're making another 10 grand a year in tips and another 5 to 10 grand in bonuses, depending on how they push. These guys are now getting apartments just so they can just screw around with women. I'm telling you, if I had met someone like me when I was Cody's age, I would be working my ass off. If I had a good job and I had no bills to pay, I'd be working my ass off. Just work, 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 invest, 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 and keep pushing until I hit 30. People will shame me. Yeah, fine, fuck it. Look at him. He's boring. He doesn't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then when we turn 40, oh my God, he got so lucky in life. No, I sacrificed in the beginning. What the hell did you do? Oh, you blew it all. And especially if you come out of college, you're going to be making, odds are you're going to be making some decent money. You're not going to start off as the salary that you want, but you will get there. And most people, as soon as you get there, you buy a new car. You get another raise, you buy a house. Get another raise or promotion after that, you buy a fun car, like a nice little BMW or something. Before you know it, shit starts adding up. And then all of a sudden, you're a Crackerville person because you look like you're rich, but all you can afford is saltines. And you got nothing in the house because you're sleeping on the floor. It's harsh, but that's what's going to happen. And I know a lot of you young people say, no, it's not going to happen. No, I save enough. No, I do enough. No, I don't want to work. I only want to work 4 days. We got to wrap that attitude up. Take that shit, throw it out the window. What you got to do is you just got to work your ass off for 10 years. Then 30, you could say, hey, you're laying me off. But guess what? I don't care because I have such a big cushion. I invested all my money. I made money with you. So now I'm gone. But you don't want to do that. So now when you're hitting 35, 40, 45, you're poor, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you're watching some idiot trying to sling you a course about how to make $1 million in 30 days, which is damn near impossible. But I can tell you right now, if I knew how to make $1 million in 30 days off of nothing, I wouldn't be on here sharing it with you. I'd be doing it every day. I'd be trying to figure out how I could do it in a day, in 24 hours, not just 30 days. Like, that's crazy. The best thing you can do is go take an actual financial literacy course, and ING has one. Northwest Pacific has one. Most financial advisors will point you in the direction of a good financial course that will actually be a benefit to you, and they're usually like $100. And let me tell you something. You don't think like you're going to be that person. But I can't tell you how many people that when I was in my 20s that said, "Oh, I'm going to make it. You don't know what you're talking about. You're boring. We don't like." They even stopped at, calling me and saying, "Hey, you want to come hang out?" Because I said, "I just can't. I'm always busy." And here we are. I'm getting ready to buy my dream cars, live the life I wanted to live. And to be honest with you guys, I don't even know if I'll keep the businesses going. I might, if someone offers me the right amount of money, I might sell and cash out and relax. But I can do it. And if I don't, I'm not working anywhere harder than I was before. But I worked really hard to get here. And now that I am here, all I have to do is maintain and work hard for a set amount of time. I don't like working hard. Nobody likes working harder than they have to. But I will work harder than I have to if there is a huge financial incentive for me. Even if I don't see it immediately, I'll see it at the end. I mean, I'm tired of talking to a lot of young people, and you can win significantly by just putting 5% of your portfolio tax free or your paycheck tax free into your 401k. And you don't even notice the difference. 5% is the magic number that if you plug that in for your 401k to withdraw out of your paycheck, you won't notice a difference. There'll be no noticeable difference because it, it reduces the amount of taxes that you pay. So then you're making the exact same by taking 5% out. It's crazy how that works. And I don't understand why a lot of young people can't think like that, because it will save your ass in the long run. You will be so much better for it. You guys just don't understand how much better you will be if you do that. I think I ranted long enough. We didn't even go over any of the topics, but But it's just true. I mean, you don't really have to go over it. Like everybody wants, even in my generation, the goal is to retire before you're too old. But you'll never get there if you don't. You have to make a sacrifice to get there, and none of you are willing to sacrifice your 20s to get there. That's all it takes. Sacrifice your 20s, and you will get there by 30. That's just pretty much it. Whether you just put the money away in stocks, in your 401k, Roth IRAs, crypto, investments, things like that. You might even get further. You might even get further than a few $1,000,000. You might end up with 10 or 20. You might be investing like Cody into crypto. Bull run happens, you cash out, you invest in real estate, create a wonderful cash flow system of a property business, and then you're able to take that money and invest it and keep working through the decade. And before you know it, you got like 30 or 40 properties and you got like 5 or 6 million in the bank that you don't have to, that's not part of your property business. And you could say, hey, I'm walking away and I'm going to live the life I wanted to live. I don't know. I'd say and to be honest, I hope my daughter doesn't make the same mistakes, because it only takes one bad mistake to mess up financially. One Ponzi scheme can screw you over. One pump and dump scheme can screw you over. One decade of not doing anything can screw you over so much. So much. I'm not saying bury your head in the sand, but I'm saying when everyone else is complaining, you keep working, because what's going to happen is in a decade, you're not going to be complaining and you're going to be happy with life. They're still going to be complaining and they're going to be really upset that they didn't take advantage of the time that they had.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's exactly what keeps me patient. Like today, I'm off work today and I can tell on my off days I feel impatient in life. I'm like, well damn, it's like I have this money and assets. I don't have a car. I'm not moved out. I don't have any hobbies because it's like in this area you have to have a car, you have to have money and a car to have hobbies. And I have money, just not spendable. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the days to where I'm like, man, like I work a job I hate. I don't have a car. I don't hang out with anybody. I don't do anything. I just feel like I'm stuck in a box all day. And honestly, it's like a prison cell to me. It's like I'm predicting in the next year that a big bull run's happening. It's like I got a 1 year prison sentence of just living at home and just going to work and coming home and doing the same thing every day. That's pretty much how I view life right now.
And maybe that's a good way to view it. Everyone's got their own way of it. Cody has his way. I have my way. I don't view it as being in prison. I just view it as sacrificing the now for the later. And everyone that I've seen that has sacrificed now for later has always made out than the people that sacrifice later for now. Because it's kind of like a betting pool. You can either bet on yourself in the future or bet on yourself now. And everyone that bets on themselves now ends up failing. I mean, in my 40 years of life, I've seen people make tremendous money. I went to college with guys that went to be a professional athlete as either a baseball player, basketball player, football player, and they're broke. They're constantly on Facebook. Hey, buddy, I got this business idea. Can you help me invest? And I already can tell by reading the synopsis that nope, this is a scam. I'm sorry, buddy, I just can't invest. I don't invest in people that I used to know with. I don't invest in people I went to college with or like worked in corporate America with, because I know they made bad decisions. And I know that those bad decisions are going to bleed into what we will try to build. So I don't invest with them. And it sucks because I can see that they want to escape whatever situation they're in, but me investing in something isn't going to help them. They're just going to make the same mistake again. That comes from, if you don't struggle for your wealth, you'll end up spending it faster because you'll get sudden wealth syndrome and you'll think you don't deserve it, or imposter syndrome. And that's what happens. And unfortunately, once huge chunks of money only come around. I was lucky enough that I had it in the beginning of my life, lost it, and I'm getting it back. That's lucky. I won the lottery. I it's like that I don't even know how to fathom the mathematical possibility of that. Because 99 point forever nine, once you make the money and you lose the money, it's impossible to get it back. It's impossible. No one has done it, except for you could probably count on one hand how many people that you know that has done it. That's how rare it is. I'm not saying it can't happen, but don't count on it happening. Don't have the mentality of I'll live for, I live for today, not for tomorrow, because you will be here tomorrow. And tomorrow that bill's going to come due and you're not going to have any money. Don't let the bill come and you have no money. Make sure that you're setting yourself up financially. Make sure you're setting yourself up so that way when you look back at your life, you don't feel like you've wasted moments, you wasted time. Why didn't I focus on this? Why didn't I focus on that? I regret my 20s. I regret that if I could go back, I tell this all the time. If I could go back, I would tell my younger self, the hell with women, stay a virgin. That probably would have been a better thing financially if I didn't spend all that effort on dating women, going through going to work and only focusing on, man, I'm trying to focus on a relationship. Guess what happened? I end up spending money. You spend money on dates. 100 here, 200 here, 50 here, 70 here, gas here,
Yeah.
getting
Not to
clothes.
mention that if, let's say, any mistakes happen during intimacy and stuff, you gotta buy contraceptive, you gotta buy Plan B, you gotta buy condoms, and that's all. If you don't want to have a child or STD, like I just feel like even I've learned at 23 that even just sleeping with women, like there's a saying that goes, "Pussy ain't free." I agree with that.
It's not. I know that you can pull up any TikTok, any video online, and they're saying, and women are saying that men are a luxury. It's not. It's the other way around. Women are a luxury, and most of us really can't afford them.
Yep.
And if you, I don't mean to cut you off, but if you don't focus on the right things, you'll never have a chance to afford them.
Well, the
Because
thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, Cody.
I didn't know you were stop talking. But the thing for me is like nobody's gonna take me seriously anyway, just because of my lifestyle. So it's like even for me, it's like attracting women isn't even a problem. It's my lifestyle. Even if I do get a chance and a woman does give me a time of day, she's not gonna stay long enough in my life. So it's like I've given up on that shit totally because nobody wants a guy who lives at home and doesn't have a car, even if he is a smart guy.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but the red pillar, that guy, Coach Great Adams, has it pretty much on point. They're not there. Most of them are not going to be there with you on the rise up. They're just waiting at the finish line and grabbing who crosses the line
Yeah,
of the race. And
100%.
and like I said, the race will be won. It will be. There's no doubt about that. But you got to understand is that no one's going to want to hop on a struggle bus. No one's going to want to follow a leader that doesn't have financial success.
Yeah,
No one's going to
exactly.
want to follow anybody that's kind of going down fire and brimstone and it's like, well, I'm just going to torch my life. I'm going to torch my life with you. Like that's not a
I
very
just
attractive
came up
thing.
with a theory. Like I've noticed a lot of girls I messed with back in the day, they always come back in some shape or form. And then when I actually talk to them, when they come back, they ask me, "Oh, how have you been doing?" And when they find out, I'm still in that building process, they don't take me seriously anymore. See, it's like a lot of girls from my past, they'll come in and they'll check on me. And then if they find out I'm still in the same position, they're not going to mess with me. And I found out, wait a minute, it's not really me that's the issue. It's just the fact that the reason why they're coming back is because they still want to see, have you moved up yet? Have you made it to the finish line yet? And that's the reason why women keep checking back into your life, because they want to find out if you're at the finish line yet. Like one girl, like she added me and was talking to me like she was interested in me. All of a sudden, I told her, hey, yeah, I'm still getting my life together. I still don't have a car. That's when I didn't hear back from her.
Yep.
They'll check in on you to see if you made it.
Oh yeah, they certainly will, and they'll do that for decades. Trust me.
Yes, they'll come back and forth.
There'll be people, and this is both men and women. There'll be people that you never thought looking in at your that have been watching you the whole time,
Yeah.
watching you like a movie. You guys don't understand. And if you're here because you're frustrated with their financial situation and you're making the steps to make it better, trust me. I don't want to make it seem like all eyes are on you, but there are people watching you. You could be in a networking group if you just started your business. There's someone there watching you. If you're a man or woman, there's someone there watching you, especially if you're a guy. There's a woman there watching you.
Yeah,
There's a person
always.
there watching you. Your bully in high school is watching you. Your bully in college is watching you. That coworker that you worked with at Walmart that you absolutely hate is watching you. So give them a movie that they're going to be pissed off at because they can't live that life, and they'll never get a chance to. That's how you got to view your life. Everyone's always saying God is always watching, and yes, God is always watching. Doesn't matter what theology you believe in, but I could tell you this: the people that you meet throughout your life are watching you. You don't know it; they'll never say it, but they are watching you. And the minute you fail, they're either gonna say, "See, they were just like us. They made the same mistakes, and they validate that it's not my fault," or you're gonna piss them off, and they're gonna see that one, it's their fault. Two, they will never have the capacity to be able to get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just plain and simple. I mean, I've talked to young women that have worked for me that are frustrated because they're in a committed relationship. They have a financial plan. I met a young woman that worked for me, and she's dating a guy who is going to college for electrical engineering right now, and he's making money and he's paying, but she's also helping him. But they plan on getting married, like they're engaged, but kind of plan on getting married, like once he gets out finishes masters in college. And all these women, don't bother with him, leave him alone, blah 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 blah. Right? He graduated this January, right? Not January. I'm sorry, December. December. They graduated. They stuck to their financial plan immediately afterwards because their plan was to have him finish college debt free. You know what? You know what happened to them? She was able. She made a lot of money with me, and they were steadily investing a little bit of it, but paying off all the debts and living life and using his money to cover his books. He graduated. He got a very prestigious job as an electrical engineer. 60K sign-on bonus. $430,000 a year
Oh my goodness.
as a satellite engineer.
At what age?
He is 26.
So he's like 3 years older, 2.5 years
They
older than me.
Yes, and he went to because he had to move for work. He went to New Jersey. They have a house. They have the lifestyle they want. And she called me up and said, "Thank you, Sal, for telling me not to listen to them." And I'm telling you, men and women, the biggest financial hurt to retiring at a young age or even getting to retirement is listening to these wackadoodles telling you how to live your life. Don't listen to them. Look at the person who's not doing what they're doing. I never listen at people telling me, "Oh, go here, go there." I never listened. Like, that was the one mistake I happened to avoid. Because I remember dating someone in college. I went to a good college, and she wanted me to leave that good college because she wanted to go to some cheap state school. I said, "No, I can't do it." And our relationship kind of ended. I was a little hurt, but I moved on with my life. I would say my life is infinitely better now than hers because I didn't make decisions with my feelings. I made a logical financial decision. No, I'm at a school where going for business and mathematics, and the business professors and my advisor all are millionaires. I'm going to stay here and learn from them. It sucks, but sometimes you got to make those decisions. I know it's tough. I know you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. You have to do it. There's no way around it. You just have to do it. It sucks. I know. And especially you're young, 20, 21, 22, 18, 19. I know. All of us older guys have been a young guy. We went through puberty. We know testosterone's kind of like hitting you on the head every day, saying like, "Come on, buddy, come on." It calms down. Trust me, it calms down. I know. It's a tough thing to do at that moment. It's real tough for a lot of young guys. It's real tough. It's easier for women. I will say this, it's easier for women to say, just turn it off. Us guys, we don't have that superpower. You're going to have to learn how to just ignore it. And even still, for all of us, it's there. It's frustrating. I know. But if you do your best to not let it steer you off your financial plan, you will get there. If you don't meet the people that steer you off your financial plan, you will get there. That's really the main reason why most people don't get to retirement, is because they're listening to other people who make poor decisions. If you listen to
Exactly.
one of my exes, you'd be right there with her. She had no money during the pandemic. She was crying. She had no place to live. She was homeless during the pandemic. She was homeless. I don't know how she made it. I gave her like a couple $100. That was it. I'm sorry that you're in this situation. Have a nice life. I have no obligation to you. That's my charity to you. It's terrible, but at the time I was starting my business. I didn't have any money to spare. I didn't have anything to do. I had to focus dialed in for that. And I don't need it. She was the inspiration for me getting the hell out, getting this shit together, because I did not want to end up in her position. Even though financially I was pretty okay. I could go get a corporate job and still be fine. But I wanted to get to where I am now. And she always said, tomorrow's never guaranteed. I could die today. Well, guess what? I can only break a leg and have to go get that taken care of, and I'll still be here. Like the chances of any of us really dying the next day are very slim, especially if we've been making the right decisions. I don't know what else to say with you guys, but that's a tough pill to swallow. And I
Yeah.
know once we close out this live, that there's going to be a lot of comments on this later on, because all our lives seem to take off like 2 or 3 days after we post them. But I'm telling you guys, make the sacrifice, and you will have a better position.
I'm sacrificing everything right now. I'm sacrificing. I don't have fun. I literally just sit at home on my off days, and I have people my age. When I tell them about my mental health and stuff, they're like, "Man, why don't you just sell that crypto and get you a car and move out?" Or they're like, "Why don't you just move out or get yourself a hobby?" This and that. I'm like, you people don't understand my life. Like, I appreciate the thought behind giving me input, but y'all don't understand my current life and what my goals are. So why would I listen to y'all? There's people
Exactly.
that, I had one girl tell me like, yeah, but your happiness and your well-being is more important than future money. I said, no, it's not, because I could buy that car that I want, and it would make me happy for a few months. A few months later, I realized I'm still stuck at the job I hate, and I barely got enough money to move out. Oh, but I got a car. Oh, but I got my own place to do what? Invite a bunch of women over and do what I can't do at my mom's house? That's how I view it.
That's a lot will say that's a corny attitude, but that's the best attitude.
People tell me all the time it's corny. People are like, bro, like, you say your life sucks at home and you can't do this and that. Why don't you just cash out money and leave? People tell me that all the time. I'm like, because if I cash out Like that money would only last me a little bit. Like 35 grand, like I could buy a car for 10 grand and have 25K left. Okay, move out on 25K even with a job, even with money coming in. Like eventually that'll just disappear. And then what? Now I have no crypto and now I have very little savings just to say, "Oh, well guys, I moved out. Well, what career do I have?" It's like there's always a next step. Like right now, I view the luxury life of, oh, getting a car, moving out. That seems so luxury. That's the next level. I get there, then my brain will be like, oh well, I don't make $70,000 a year. I don't have a college degree. I don't have this qualification, and I have a car in my own place. What am I going to do next? You know?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be that. You really don't want to live that life because that's the hardest life to live. But at the same time, I know it's hard to not listen to to not to like tone that out. It's hard. I get it.
And
It's
especially
very
not
hard.
being taken seriously by women, because it's like I have the looks, I have a good personality, I have everything good going about me. But literally every woman turns me down just because of where I'm at right now. And then I have people tell me, nah, Cody, the real one doesn't care about that. I'm like, are you sure? Because if there was a real one out there that didn't care about that, why have I been single since I have been 18? Because I've been living at home with my parents, since I was 18. There was people out there that genuinely care about that. I wouldn't struggle dating just building relationships with these people. I mean, not that I care about dating somebody because I'm not in the position to do that anyway. But it's like even if I wanted to, nobody's gonna want to stick around. People, even if I met a couple solid friends, like they probably wouldn't be there during the hard times either. Like nobody, I'm seeing it in real time right now. Nobody even comes to pick me up and hang out with me just because I don't have a car. But guarantee you, if I got a car and some money tomorrow, everybody would want to hang out with me.
Could very, like I said, it's the best decisions are always the tough ones.
Yes.
And unfortunately, sometimes you got to go through that. And I know there's a lot of young guys that feel just like Cody because a lot of them work for me sometimes. They come in and out of construction company, in and out of the furniture store chain that I have, in and out of the moving company that I have, in and out of these networking groups because they're trying to do something. It's like don't don't make this financial decision because you're trying to get a place so you can just get more women. Get this financial decision right because you want to live a healthy life to be able to do the things that you want in life, not those things, but the things that really matter. Maybe having a family, taking care of a family, maybe backpacking around the world, maybe traveling to new cultures and really immersing yourself in them. That takes money and time.
I want to do those things, and people tell me all the time. Like I have this one friend, like, and they could all mean it from good places, but they're like, I was talking to him about travel. He was like, "Bro, do it." I'm like, money is the only thing that's stopping me. Like people don't want to hear that money it enables you to do those things. People want to make it think that, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm broke. Like if I want to do something, I want to do it. And I'm like, no, that's what puts you in the poorhouse. It's like
Yeah.
I want to do a lot of things. Like I want my own place, I want my own car, but doing that now, even with 35,000, it's like I'd much rather add more cash and have more cash and do that later. I'm only 23. I have a whole life of having my own place.
Yeah,
I've
and
that.
I don't mean to cut you off, Cody, but because I gotta wrap this
Oh,
up.
you're good.
But I know what Cody's going through because it's frustrating, and like even when I started this business, I was 35. Every single person I went to college with was like, "Oh, I thought you would have married so and so. Why don't you have, I thought you would have been, just living the married life and everything." And I was married, but I was divorced. I had my daughter, but we were splitting custody, and then I really couldn't see my daughter because I was building this business, and life kind of sucked. And I had to keep making these decisions. I had to keep ignoring stuff. And I have met some tremendously fabulous women that probably might have been a really good match for me. And believe it or not, guys, like and a lot of my weight gains from depression from my divorce. I wouldn't even say it was depression. I just was, because depression is a little strong. I was just sad and eating, like coping with it with eating. I wouldn't even call it, because I wasn't thinking those thoughts that people who have depression think. I was just like, oh, I'm bored. Like, life sucks. I guess I'll have another bowl of Cheerios. Oh, it's still not satisfying. I guess I'll have another one. Kind of. That's kind of how I rapidly gained the weight. But that's another story. But when I started business and I started losing the weight, and then trust me, guys, if you saw me when I started, and Cody hasn't even seen me in a while, other than on here, like you can see from 2019 when I started to now, like I've lost about 210 pounds. I was almost down to 200 by gaining the weight back because poor eating habits. But like I met some fabulous women, and women I would have never even have been looking at or looking for, that yeah, they could go through. And then my sensibilities changed and my lifestyle changed, and I really don't want, like, I'm 40, I'm not going to the clubs. The clubs is for young people. That's for you guys in your 20s. Like, and when I was 20, there was always someone my age like hopping around there, like why are you here? That's what my thought is. And I still think that, like, why would I be there? My sensibilities is I want to go, like, right now I'm trying to go with my family to go see a Chinese opera. Like, that's what I'm doing. We do corny stuff. And I realize, like, what I really want is I'm trying to find a wife my future wife that can be a part, like, can tolerate, that would, like, not tolerate, I should say, but would like to go with me to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Who can just say, hey, it's a clear night sky. Let's take this telescope out and go out to the park and take a look at see what constellations we can pick out, like that type of stuff. And I realized, like, that's more important than the romanticized version of life that I had when I was young. And luckily, I didn't make too many bad mistakes chasing the romanticized life that I can be able to put myself in this position. I know this is a lot of this goes to you young guys out there, but I'm telling you, you got to focus on this. You got to dial this in. And now, if ever, my closing thing, now if ever, is the time to focus on fixing your finances, getting your credit score up, getting your life together, and just getting everything together. Just get it together. Just get your life as together as you can, and then try to grow it. And trust me, life will be so much better. You'll be a completely different person afterwards. It may take 5 years, it may take 10 years, it may even take you 20 years, but the journey will be well worth it. I'm telling you, it's going to be well worth it. But with that said, guys, I got to go. I got to get food for my dogs and take them for their evening walk. But I do appreciate all you guys coming in. I appreciate Cody sharing his stories. I appreciate all you guys. If you
Oh
have
yeah.
anything that you wanted to share, because we do these podcasts every Wednesday night. So if you have anything that you wanted to share, definitely share it with us. I can definitely, if it's a topic you want me to cover, or looking at the economy or something, or maybe it's just a general question that you had, because we don't really talk. Sometimes we talk finance, a lot of times we talk it, but it's really just more the topic of the day. But we're glad to have you guys in here. If you can hit that like and subscribe button, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to get to that 500 mark. And I know Crypto Dream did not make it because he's probably working the night shift. He's one of our greatest supporters, been with us since the very beginning, probably subscriber number one. I'm pretty sure he was. Go to his channel because he has a lot of great viewpoints on viewing stocks and crypto, and from a family man trying to chase the American dream, he definitely has a great viewpoint of it. So definitely go give his channel support. It's Crypto Dream. I think the tag is at Crypto Dream for us. Go watch his channel. Thank you guys for joining in. We will definitely be seeing you next time, although I'm going to be working all week up until the rest of the week up until Saturday. I'm hoping I can have Saturday off, but I might be working again. You never know. That's the entrepreneurial life. But thank you, Cody. Thanks for joining in. Thank you all you guys for watching. As always, this live is supported by you guys, so keep joining in with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys.